Okay. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome to Change the Lives. Hosted by yours truly, Deonte. We got a super show planned for you guys tonight. And I think it's a discussion that a lot of men in particular need to have, because far too often, I believe, men go through this situation and we don't do enough conversating and fellowship and to actually get any kind of insight on how to handle this situation. And what we're talking about now is really fatherhood after divorce. Fatherhood after divorce. What we're talking about, because far too often people go through divorce and it happens. And then when they're going through that whole point of dealing with their ex, dealing with their kids, dealing with life and stuff like that, I have never seen too many, not saying that there's an out there, I haven't seen too many consistent groups of people working together to kind of help guys rebound as far as men. Now, women, they socialize,
right.
Just like you go through a divorce, men, we might be at the bar, hey, bro, you all right? Whatever, get a drink, let's go get some women.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, the man going through something, let me go get him drunk and party, whatever. Women, they have, brunch.
Divorce parties.
Yeah, divorce parties. They sit around, drink mimosas. You know what I'm saying?
Talking about how dirty he was.
Strategize and all kind of stuff and everything. Pulling up all, they pulling up your social media, look at all this stuff, all your little friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't do that.
Right.
And I'm not saying we should, but it's a totally different situation with going through the process.
It is.
And a lot of times, man, when men went through a divorce, depending on how it goes, it can shake your ass apart. And unfortunately, a lot of times, many men can't recover from it. And I want to have that discussion tonight, just, talk about that, because I do think, man, it's super, super important, because I don't wish it on anybody, but if you ever go through a divorce, it is game changing, and it can hurt you financially, spiritually, physically, socially, and damn sure mentally.
Right.
So, with a nice discussion, guys, feel free to call in. Again, we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Again, fatherhood after divorce. If you got a question or comment, please leave it in the chat, or feel free to call in. The call-in number is 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. Before we get started, I want to say what's up to my house producer, DJLAB.
What's going on, brothers? Another great Thursday.
Hey, man.
I was wishing for rain. I ain't getting no rain. I want some rain.
You want some rain?
Yeah, I just want some rain. I don't know why.
You be tripping about this damn rain. You might need to ride downtown.
I need some rain, man.
This big thigh season. Big thigh, pretty feet season.
I get it. But I still want some rain. I just, wet feet. Wet, pretty feet.
Oh, damn that shit. I'd rather see
a surprise rain.
A nice sundress as opposed to an umbrella. Damn, what you talking about?
Hey, mama.
What's going on, mama? Hell no.
I don't know why. I've been wanting some rain for the last 2 weeks, like some real rain, like some hard, like 2-day rain. I don't know why. I've been wanting some rain, man.
Well, only you in my little garden. That's about it. I also want to say what's up to my other producer, Slick 316. What's up, Reek?
What's going on, Reek?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm losing my damn voice. I've been yelling and shit. Again, tonight we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Again, fatherhood after divorce. Again, feel free. If you got questions, concerns, or comments, rather, I'm sorry, leave them in the chat. But also feel free to call in 678-740-9894. Again, 678-740-9894. And Change the Lives. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. And again, we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Because here's the deal, guys. When it happens, we know the marriage has ended.
This is true.
But fatherhood didn't.
That's true.
And how you navigate through that, that's one of the most toughest things, because again, theoretically, when you go through the divorce and you got the parenting plan, and this is how you're supposed to interact, that's the kind of guide principle of what you're supposed to do. Now, if another person stick with it or not,
That's different.
So how they roll with it is something totally different. So we know divorce can leave men feeling broken, bitter, and boxed out. But for fathers, the road doesn't end; it evolves. The conversation should be about what we're talking about: the truth, the tools, and the transformation rather, that a man have to go through. Because I can sit here and tell you that I thought it was pretty great, like as far as the parenting plan me and my ex-wife worked on, and for the most part we stick to it. But if I'd be lying to you in regards to just like some things I feel like, hey, let's talk about this, and shit.
No, it's not happening.
Hell no,
Ain't no talking.
Ain't no talking. And I will say this too, man. My boy always bring me back home with this one. He's like, Poochie, shit, this work guys got it worse than you. Because me in particular, with my divorce, you know, just we talking about, you know, for fatherhood after divorce, the boys stayed with me. And two were grown, and the two boys stayed with me, and they go to make wife on the weekend. Now, years later, three of them are grown, just the one, and my baby boy just started in high school. So we have a different dynamic than most people that I know. Most, you know, is usually the reverse.
Right.
With that, and it was, I won't say challenging, but it was unique.
Okay.
And OG did tell me it take you like 4 years to get through a divorce. You know, from the mental standpoint, social standpoint, financial standpoint, get through that. And like I said, it took me probably about 2. To kind of get leveled off. I think my biggest transition was, not saying my ex-wife wasn't involved, but they get used to the stuff that she did.
Right.
And she mostly did the cooking and stuff like that. Well, now I'm doing it. That was one thing. Outside that wasn't a big thing. Cause my kids do their own laundry and all that other stuff. So it wasn't that, but it's still some transition where, you know, it was more natural to go holler at mama about. But since I was on the one there, so that was unique.
Yeah, and, that was.
The thing with that, when we talk about fatherhood after divorce, because of that, when you talk to your partner or something like that is going through it or don't been through it, your situation would be totally different. Because it's kind of hard talking to a cat about my situation, and they ain't even seeing their kids.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They ain't even got access to their kids.
Right.
They, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's totally different.
Yeah.
They're a lot more stressed than you are.
I didn't know, man. We did the joint physical with legal with no child support.
Right.
So, you know, there was no, you know, some conversation like I like, man, I gotta pay this. I couldn't get into that conversation. Now, shit, all that damn money and shit I gave her with a divorce.
Right.
Don't get me started.
I'm gonna throw a different dynamic in when it comes to children and being divorced. When I got divorced, my children were in their 20s, but that dynamic was a little bit. I'm gonna say it was a little bit difficult because as I'm not discussing what we're getting divorced about or why we're separating, she's discussing it all to them. So, you know, you had a dynamic of they believe in everything she say because I'm not saying anything. So you got that whole dynamic of them just feeling like I was in the wrong because, of course, she's telling them that everything happened was my fault. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to debunk. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. It's none of their business as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how old they are. It will never be any of their business. And I'm not going to talk. I've always said this many times. I said on a couple of shows, I'm not going to talk negative about their mother, even though I was being dogged out.
Gotcha. Just take negativity about years later, and you look back at it. Do you think that was wise to do? Or
yes.
Just business?
I feel like it was wise to do because to this day, now that they're coming back around and they're seeing that, look, because I felt like in their own time they'll figure it out because they're adults. And anything she tell them, if they think back to it, because they were older when we got divorced. It wasn't like they was 8 or 9. They could think back to it like, I ain't never see Daddy do that. You know what I'm saying? So they just had to get out the fog of everything that's been going on and then being blitzed with all this negative stuff about me. So they had to shuffle through that. You know, that's something they had to shuffle through. It took a little while.
You know, the unique point about this whole conversation when we even talking about that is that, you know, just like me and you talking about that in particular, what may be applicable to your situation may not be applicable to mine.
Right.
And it doesn't make your way right and my way wrong.
Right.
Even the thought process is just different.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know hindsight be the best sight. And, I guess until we get a result or response we don't like,
Right.
we don't necessarily know, okay, if they're the best thing. Even if we get one we like, we might still, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like, I don't think that was best for me to do it that way.
Right.
And it's tough
Mm-hmm.
because again, it's one of those situations. In my personal opinion, I think it's great to have conversations with people, but at the end of the day, when you make your decision on how you're going to go about certain things, it's still a lonely walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff that's black and white, like, okay, look, legally you can't do this, legally you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fine to get, exposed and be knowledgeable about that. As far as like splitting stuff, custody and things that,
Right.
you're like, okay, cool, man, I ain't know that good. But the whole thing of, hey, this is probably how you want to do that as far as frequency y'all meet, how y'all make decisions and stuff like that. That shit tough, man, because again, you can even get counsel, but you just don't know, man.
Right.
But that is one of the main points of this conversation, because number one, you look thinking about, what a fatherhood look like after divorce. You gotta learn the parent solo or from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
How either one. And like I said, that was me. Again, because my ex-wife did the majority of the cooking, the majority of the grocery shopping, majority of taking the doctor's appointments. And when she left, she got to find herself, just like I had to find myself.
Right.
And me, hey, you supposed to do this, you supposed to do that. She had probably had intention to do it, but I got to do it when she available to do it.
Right.
So,
or when she felt like doing it.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying. All this stuff changed. Well, before, it was damn near like, because she was there, she was obligated.
Or it was automatic.
Like, absolutely. Without any questions, concerns, or whatever like that. And when you sit there and look at what it looked like, you try to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, with limited access.
Yeah.
So if you sitting there like, okay, well, before you can walk in that room and get on them and talk to them, now physically you may not be able to see them weekly or every 2 weeks, or anything. You know what I'm saying? Just really trying to be there, and that can be very challenging depending on the accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
If it's FaceTime on the phone, and it's I couldn't imagine trying to discipline, have a fun conversation, just talking, vibing over a damn phone.
I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying, because the conversation go left so quick,
real quick,
and I only got limited time, because I might catch them after they done ate, after practice, before they go to bed,
right?
And it's not the same.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's not the same as going to sit on their bed.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, and talk to them before they go to sleep real quick.
Yeah, so you got this new normal that you're doing now. When you don't want to
ruffle feathers.
And at one time I talked to my son, I'm fussing with his ass, and when I got him, now I'm getting in his shit, and we ain't really at a time, a moment to reconcile, and now I'm dropping him off back at home.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a new normal, and I think that getting yourself mentally prepared for that. Those kind of things I was, when I was talking with when I called Chris and show, like when they were talking about divorce and going through it, I just don't think a lot of times people think about when decision we got to do, what that's going to look like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Big picture.
On the whole, just when you're making this decision right now, you don't step back and look at
how it's going to be a year from now, 3 years, 5.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was coming from a financial standpoint, custody standpoint. Like if I give you that, I got to understand, like,
the rules change.
Yeah, rules change.
Yeah.
Especially accessibility. You You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think a lot of people think about that part, because generally when you get a divorce, I'm not gonna say all the time, because some divorces end amicably, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But when it divorces, it's generally on a bad, you're on a bad foot with the spouse. So you're not gonna, things are gonna be a lot different. You know what I'm saying? If you leaving on bad terms, so it's just hard to get used to. It's just hard to navigate, especially when you're trying to do right by yourself and by your children, and you try to make sure your children understand that regardless to how me and your mama may be, I'm always going to be here for you. And they may not see it that way. They might not understand that, depending on how old. No, even depending on how old they are. It just might be them and themselves. You know what I'm saying?
It's very hard. It can be challenging to be present, and you're not present.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know everybody got a different way they look at it, and I can't sit here and say, well, hey man, you ain't really doing this. If you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. But shit, man, it's challenging, because from a realistic standpoint, just say you got a little league football team. You need to practice 3 days a week around each other, be around each other. You got to get some kind of continuity. Anything more than that would be great. It's like, that's why you got football practice, high school level, band practice every 5 days a week. And if you can't really have contact with him over that often, like, I'm not saying you can't do it, but that shit, impact wise, it ain't the same.
Right. It ain't.
Just real talk.
It ain't the same.
And that's not to diminish anybody. We having a real open conversation, everybody. That's not to diminish anybody's situation. But if you're not around them every day, realistically can't sit here and say, well, like, I'm having the same kind of impact.
Yeah.
Regardless what you're saying.
Right.
Now you turn around, you sit here.
And then you got that other dynamic of once you say something, you don't know it, since you're not around them and they with the other spouse, you don't know what the other spouse is saying. You don't worry about that. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a bitter thing. Like it's a bitter thing. So if you telling the child one thing, they go home, they say, well, daddy or mama said, and then the spouse is like, man, you ain't gotta do that. Do what I say. Cause you know what I'm saying? Then you got that whole dynamic going on. Cause it happens.
Yeah, that. Oh hell, even new boyfriend. Oh shit,
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Tonight we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Guys, feel free, if you got any questions or comments, leave it in the chat. Also, feel free to call in 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. Anybody in YouTube on anyone on?
Not yet.
Okay.
They in there, but they ain't saying it.
Y'all gonna leave your questions. I know you got questions. Ladies, you still can say something. It ain't limited to the guys.
Right.
In regards to anything like that. But again, we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. But I do think guys need a lot of support and insight in regards to going through that. But ladies, feel free to leave a comment or question if you got anything to add to the conversation.
But as guys, I think we're guilty of holding this stuff in. A lot of times, we'll say, we need support and we need help to get this done. But generally, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to get into that because when it's a painful thing or when it's something that hurts our feelings, we just don't want to relive it sometimes. And it's hard for us to express our feelings a lot of times, so we just don't get into it.
It's embarrassing. I remember with myself, and it's crazy to say I now look back at it, but I can be honest about this. It was like me being Mr. Deonte Burden in the neighborhood, active black father neighborhood. It was kind of like I felt a little defeated and embarrassed to let folk know I'm going through a divorce.
Right.
Like, damn, man, you're a good brother, good family man. Fuck you do.
Right.
Miss Brooks didn't do anything. What did you do? You cheated, didn't you?
Right, exactly.
You cheated,
Right
didn't
to that.
Hell, yeah, if you know why you asked. Shit.
Right.
Hey, hey, you got me. Hey.
Yeah.
But you sit there and it's that feeling you have, like, damn, man, like, oh man, you gotta show that and stuff, because now people know your business without you telling your business.
Right. And when they look
you gotta let them know all that kind of stuff like that. So I can see that, man, because that's it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got some people out here, not rid of this, that, and that.
Right.
I can't really say I wouldn't. Well, I can say say I was happy, or my ex-wife, if she was happy, but let the world where I was. Let me say that. I don't know what it was with her. It was as a man, rough. I ain't out type person,
right.
But I do know that a lot of married look up to me as a. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know that for a fact because I was married a little over 20 years and advice, this, that, and that, and all that kind of stuff. So when it happens, that kind of deflates a lot of brothers. You know what I'm saying? Looking like, damn, Poochie going through? Yeah. Nobody stay married. Poochie can stay married.
Right. Then they get discouraged.
Yeah. And I understand. So that's one of them things, guys. And again, we talking about fatherhood after divorce. We're giving one of the key components with that. A major one is legal and custody challenges. Child support, custody battles, and court dates. Man, it can have a huge impact in regards to what you're doing because now, you love your baby. You want to see your baby. Shit, I got to make money to cover this stuff so I can keep my damn driver license.
Right.
And you got that saved that's stuck in there. And you got some that don't give a damn.
Right.
Or things might have been taken out. And because they don't want to deal with that, I'm going to avoid that. Depending on how a custody battle going, you might got stuff like restraining orders and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Shit, man, they fussing about who need this, who need that, because it's all kind of arrangements, 2 days here, then 3 days there. And you got they really got your damn kid living out the damn book bag. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And it's, again, I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but that shit can get all crazy. And at the end of the day, unconsciously, we're probably making a bad impact on our kids.
Yeah, and then we think about when schedules change, jobs change, then you got to work around and try to deal with
the other person or the other spouse and try to figure out the new schedule. And they like, no, I want to keep this way, but you got to work. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, and also, just from, just thinking from that legal standpoint, make sure you can protect your rights, all the time where you just keep your peace of mind and stuff. Because that's one thing about it, guys, and I'm just say this, and I had to learn, I never thought about this until I went through a divorce. What is right and what is legal
two different
things.
Right.
So shit can be unfair, but it's legal. And that's what I think. The sooner you can kind of embrace that, it may not be right, but it's legal.
Right.
The sooner you can embrace that going through a divorce, I think you'll be okay.
Right.
Because the shit you thinking, okay, man, this makes sense to you.
To you.
Right. And that's what you want, or you feel that they should be okay with. But they don't. For whatever reason. They don't like it. They think it's stupid. They just want to argue, whatever reason. But you, in your mind, this is fair. In anybody else's mind, it may be too.
Right.
But they may not see it that way. And at the end of the day, like there may be certain laws and stuff in place you have to adhere to. So you have to make sure that you equip yourself with that. And I'm telling you guys, it's just like I did a video a couple weeks ago where the young brother was at child support court.
I remember that video.
And he was stating the kids stay with him 4 days out the week. Why am I paying child support? But he didn't get representation. He didn't get counsel. So he signed over a paper saying, hey, whatever he was saying, hey, I want joint custody, whatever. But it was something he signed to say, hey, listen, mother, primary. But he asked for something, and that was, she was awarded child support. And he was trying to just figure out why in the world do I got to do that?
Right.
He didn't know.
Right.
So in his mind, like, look, how can she get child support and they're with me most of the time? Because you didn't know. That ain't right, but that is legal.
Right.
And most of the times, this is me personally speaking, that happens to you when you avoid, getting proper counsel.
But then you got that one, I don't know if he's a basketball player, I don't keep up with sports like that, who had the child and the court awarded $5,000 a month child support to the mama for 18 years. He paid the whole 18 years up front. like 1.8 million or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Now she upset because she already went through 100,000. She like, well, what if it don't last to 18 years? Apparently it's legal. He didn't pay it.
Yeah.
So now she worried because she thinking, well, if he make more money, I won't be able to get no more money. And okay.
Hey man, I always say, man, gotta be realistic.
Right.
You know, I love my children. And I think a lot of times people go into kids don't ask to be here and all this other kind of stuff like that. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes from a father and a grandfather. I sit here and tell you, when a person has 100% power on a decision that can affect another person, you know, just 50%. Like you got 100% decision making, but I got 50% responsibility.
Right.
You got to take what come with it.
Right.
Because again, that doesn't, you know, your mind like, okay, hey, you know, this, you know, what kind of man don't want to take care of the kid? Man, didn't want the kid.
Right.
Man, didn't want to be bothered with you.
Right.
And you can look at that. Is he being immoral or are you being immoral going through it? You know, he didn't want it. You know, it just, it don't matter. It don't matter. Well, clearly it does.
Right.
Right. And I think sometimes people really need to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You can't make a person be interested.
Right.
You cannot make a person love. They don't want to love it. You cannot do that. You can make them be responsible, have
Right.
they have responsibility, but you cannot make nobody want to love a child that they did not want to damn have. You can't.
That's true.
No, you can't.
You can't make them. No.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
hopefully, eventually, they will fall in love with the child.
well, shit, if they do, they do. They don't, they don't. My
Right.
point is, you can only make them half responsible for it.
Right.
That's it. And what my only point with that is, you have to be realistic about when you make that decision to move forward with it. You know that. You know you got to do that.
Right.
Same thing with a man. You married.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't have that flexibility because once it's there, it's there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, that's that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just
it is what it
is. It is what it is.
Okay.
And I just think that the sooner, especially going through a divorce or coming out of divorce, the sooner that you can actually equip yourself with the information that's legal, that you really can, instead of getting out of the right and wrong mentality. Because a lot of times people give you advice with no ill intentions, but they give you advice and it sounds good, but it may not be legal. And I would really advise people to, number one, put more of a preference. Thanks for calling Change Your Life. This is Deonte Burton speaking. Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Bryson.
What's going on now?
What's going on? I have something to say. In agreement, and then a little bit of devil's caveat.
Okay, cool. Shoot.
Well, I feel like what you were saying. I mean, I don't know how far I got into the live, but I do feel like, you know,
Bryson, I'm going to cut you off. When you say what I was saying, what are you talking? Repeat what I was saying so we know what you're talking about, brother.
In regards to how sometimes the women can sometimes cut off the relationship sometimes between the man and the child, or, you know, based off of the decisions that they can make, right?
Well, not necessarily cut a relationship. You're talking about the part with the responsibility.
Yeah, I feel like if the man tells you, "Hey, I'm not available right now emotionally to deal with this," and you choose to move forward with it, I feel like there's a certain amount of pressure or a certain amount of grace that you need to give the man, because women do have that choice to where they can, like, I don't want to have the baby, and I can get rid of it, you know, and then the man has no choice. A lot of men don't have rights on anything, or they're not believed on anything. They just always have to accept everything, in my opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. They do have 100% decision making. A woman has 100% decision making with anything she wants to do with her body. Now, men have 50% responsibility.
Yeah, but if a man says, "Hey, I don't want you," if a woman calls and says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," and he says that I don't, and he says I'm not financially able to do so, and she's in her early term pregnancy, she can decide to still have that baby and then still holds him responsible for something that he decided that ultimately that he didn't want to have responsibility for because he can't be there, but she's made that decision for him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're in no disagreement with me on that one. Now, what do you have a disagreement with? What part of it that you disagree with?
I feel like in my sense, I do feel like men do have some kind of responsibility because obviously you do have to lay down and you do have to have the child or whatever sexual experiments happen at that moment or whatever intensity happen, it happens. I do disagree that if a woman decides to have the child, that they should be held at any point in time. They have no I don't agree with them having no rights to be able to deny. But I also basically what I'm saying is that I believe that they should have a right to accept responsibility or not, meaning they can sign the birth certificate or they cannot sign the birth certificate. If they don't sign the birth certificate, I don't feel like they should have any parental rights. They shouldn't, the mother understands and she accepts so and everything of that nature. If the woman decides that, she wants to have this baby alone, then that's what she does.
Well, I didn't know.
And she wants to accept it. She was like, hey, I want to bring this child. I mean, because you have to look at the statistics. A lot of women are more privileged nowadays than men are right now as far as financially, and then also, and this is no shade, some women have, a lot of women have a lot of more financial privilege when it comes to things and help and, resources because they're a woman and because they have a child. They have so much more than men do. Men are just literally how I'm looking, how I'm seeing, especially all over the internet. Men are just expected to be wallets, and they're expected to be beat on and not believed. And I think that needs to stop. The man says, "Hey, I can't have this baby because I can't afford it because I only work at AutoZone and I make $30,000 a year." And I know I said busted babe, and we did all the busted babe and all the other kind of stuff while we was talking and having sex. And I'm giving you the option to let it go, and you said you don't want to let it go. I mean, why ruin him? Why ruin him to that much to where he got to steal?
Well, I'm gonna just give you my personal opinion on that. I don't think you can avoid. What you say, Lab? Move a little bit. They're cool. Okay. I disagree.
I mean, it's avoidable. It's avoidable with contraception and condoms and all the other kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the option of when, oops, this happens.
Well, I got you. But the thing of it is, once it happens, it happens. And at the end of the day, the way anybody can feel at the beginning, because you get
for us.
That's
finish. Not for them. For them, they can go get a pill.
Hold on, Bryson.
They can go to Planned Parenthood.
Bryson, let me finish now. Let me finish. I'll let you talk.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying
I'm a Leo. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. What I'm saying is, just say if it's the point where the female says, look, you don't want to do it. I'm financially stable. You don't have to be bothered with it. I got it. Right? The issue comes up a lot of times because what you are now may not be what you are tomorrow. And at the end of the day, depending on, if certain things happen, the state got to get involved and there's support needed with something else like that. That's what, those.
Yeah, it sure will get hard.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, your responsibilities don't disappear because of intentions. But what my whole point of it is, I do think that you still are responsible. I just don't think you can make someone interested. Because even if it's a mistake, it's a oops,
That's very true.
if you decide to do it and it was joint and you guys were fine with doing it, or like I say, like you mentioned, it was oops, it was a mistake, you're still responsible regardless. But again, you cannot make someone interested in that. Okay, you made him that half of that responsibility. He didn't want to do it. He didn't, he stated to you.
I understand. You're saying take responsibility for the actions that you did and you lay down and you possibly mimic the child. But you also have to go with the argument is that if there's an option to, and I know it's going to sound horrible to your audience, but it's an exercise environment for most women. If you got 7 kids and you're on unemployment or you whatever, you can't afford the 7 kids that you got. But, and then the man says, hey, I can't, I'm 17 or I'm 18, 19, I can't take this on. We should get rid of it. And he said, no. It's like you men have no choice. That's the problem. I feel like we have nothing.
No, I agree with you. And before we go into hypotheticals, the female can have 7 kids and can't afford it, or the female can have 0 kids. At the end of the day, that's what I said a little while ago. What's legal and what's fair may be 2 different things. And the sooner that you can actually get into that, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things with it. So that's just something to just think about. Because,
but why don't we have any legal like I look at so many times.
Bryce, I'm going to cut you off.
I was watching
Bryce, I'm going to cut you off. But what it is, the show we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. So I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole with that. But
I'm sorry if I got off topic.
No. I appreciate you calling. Please continue to call, and if you're still looking online, make sure you add to the chat. I just don't want to get too far off topic with that. But I really appreciate you calling.
Okay, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. You take it easy now.
You too.
Thank you. That was a good point he brought up, but like I said again, I said it, man. We what's legal,
right?
What's right. I can't, again, like, hey, man, it is what it is with that. But that's one of the biggest things I think. A lot of times when we start talking about custody and all that kind of stuff, especially when primary and unprimary and stuff, like damn near, we did a whole show on legitimation. Like, hey man, listen. You signed the birth certificate. You just admitted to what? Custody.
Right.
When a divorce is a little different because you ain't got to go through that shit with a divorce.
Right.
But just because that whole process, now you had these certain things. We went through a divorce. I'm gonna give her custody. But now because you didn't, they're staying with her, a lot of your decision making is gone because she has primaries, not joint, and that shit can drive you damn crazy.
Yeah.
Now your child is not doing extracurricular activities. Now your child is going in a damn religion that you don't agree with. Now your child,
and that's to Bryson's point. Like when it comes to us and our children, and this is divorce. This is even in divorce. I think sometimes that if the mother wants to give that half custody up, it's good. But if she don't, you got to fight for it. You don't even have that right sometimes in that case. Am I correct?
No, you're correct. But in most cases, let me say something too. I would say that was very correct prior to 2020. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Most of your judges and stuff now, a lot of your judges now are in that 40 to 55. They're more progressive. They believe in father's right. They believe in joint custody. So it's that old guard of not giving a damn, those 90s and 80s judges and shit like that. A lot of them not around anymore.
Okay.
So you have a lot of more progressive, forward-thinking judges. The issue coming up is, like I said, to the point, I mean, you still got to fight any damn way. You fighting about keeping your damn car.
That's true.
You fighting about keeping your damn sofa.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? What you mean you want my record player? I'm just saying, like, so you're already fighting. So, The kids just gonna be one thing with it.
One thing add to the situation.
Absolutely. Let me get this. Let us talk. LT Radio says, let's have real conversation that both parties have to be responsible before and after. Ideally, no one gets a pass, men or women. Men have a decision in it. I wish that were the case. I wish that were the case. I think, and I think the best way I can say this, outside of it having to come to the decision of a judge, divorce is not what you want. It's not what they want. It's what y'all can agree on.
Right.
When you get a mediation, it's really what you can agree on. And 90% was the statistic I was given by an attorney of divorces, just don't go past mediation. But if you got to go to the judge, what they decide. So at the end of the day, like, it's really a decision, and that is whatever y'all agree on. People leave the table, that everybody ain't necessarily happy. So unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. Bryson said men need rights. I think as a person that's went through it, and he was talking, I think a lot of times, from what I've seen, depending on how the approach was, I ain't seen too many times where a cat just, when you go before the judges blow shit up.
Right.
But if you just concede a lot of times, that's how that is, how they can be. Like, okay, well, I don't want to deal with it. She want this, I give her that, whatever.
Right.
But, in every state different.
Right.
But I'm going to be honest with you, man. Depending on what y'all trying to do, man, it's not as difficult as it used to be to get certain things in place. You know what I'm saying?
You just got to have the proper counseling.
Yeah.
And the proper representation. I mean.
Because I ain't going to sit here and tell you that everybody can get joint custody, I ain't going to sit here and tell you that. But I do think being realistic, because you do got a segment that want to do joint custody, so I don't have to pay child support. I get it. You don't want to pay it. I'm taking care of the niece, son, do that and everything. But at the end of the day, it's going to be difficult to make that point if you can't accommodate certain things. You can't make sure they're in school. You can't make sure they're this, that, and that. And if you can, it's a different kind of argument.
Right.
And you would hopefully try to get that done in mediation. Well, hey, what we do this, that, and that, because the lawyers can kind of factor it up on paper where it makes sense.
True.
I don't know if the 2 day here, 2 day there, it's some realistic shit. You know what I'm saying? But they can make it, because I can just say this. Boys with me 5 days a week. My ex-wife on the weekends. Couple weeks on the holidays. That shit's still 80%, and we did that.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't no big thing to do differently.
Right.
But what y'all can agree on, and it makes sense or whatever, you got to major in the minor. You just don't know if you're gonna be in a conversation. You just don't know. But I can't stress to you enough. When you're going through that kind of stuff, know your legal rights.
Right.
Know your legal rights, what you can do, what you can't do, because far too often, my personal opinion, people argue about shit that's not fair or right, but it is legal. And you arguing about why I can't do this. This ain't fair. The time you spending arguing and fussing about what ain't fair, you need to be refocusing on about what the hell you can do. Because stop sign there, stop sign there.
Right.
Shit, you gotta stop. But what we gotta worry about 3 or 4 blocks when we get past the stop sign. You get what I'm saying,
I get it.
And I think that's what happens far too often. My personal opinion, people get mad and get froze. I ain't saying don't care. I ain't saying don't get mad. But the shit you fussing about, you can't change that. You know what I mean? What we got in here, Bryce said they accept me. They accept me to accept and don't hear her mean they want a father's. Okay. Sexy Redbone 28 says both parties have the same rights. A lot of times, father will not fight for the kids, in my opinion. And I think that happens a lot, depending on the situation. You do in theory, both parents have the same rights. And I do think a lot of times cats don't necessarily fight. But I will say, depending on how far it goes to the damn decision of the judge.
Right.
That's the main thing. But at the end of the day, once you have your rights and you lay that down, that's what you have. But to that point, a lot of cats don't want to go through that. They'll say I got rights, but try to enforce it. That's the thing with that. Yeah, with it. What it says, LT Radio said men do knowing the process of how children are created. Let me see right here. Let me go through before I hop on this next one. Bryson says women sometimes use kids as weapons. Yeah. Sometimes, a lot of times.
Slick says men disregard the kids if the kid's mom doesn't want them.
So what now?
Slick says men disregard the kids if the kid's mom doesn't want them.
That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot. Depending, it happened there, or the mamas get mad because the man really want to see his kids and don't want to be bothered with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's one of them things. That's one of them things with that. Like just hey, we done got a divorce. And they just you don't want me no more.
Right.
Right. Guys, again, tonight show we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Again, fatherhood after divorce. I appreciate everybody tuning in. What Bryson said, most people are not married. I agree with that, Bryson, but the show is about
divorce,
marriage after divorce.
I mean,
fatherhood. It's fatherhood after divorce. I'm sorry, father. So it's a niche
but we
perspective.
have a paternity conversation.
Yeah,
if we need to.
But we have tons. We have tons of conversation we have all the time. I appreciate you coming in. Like a new listen to the show, man. But definitely, man, if you get a chance, go to the YouTube channel, Change the Lives, hosted by Deonte Burton. We got over 1,400 videos on the YouTube channel where we talk about, perspectives, or you can punch what you just made with that. But the night show we are talking about fatherhood after divorce. Mm-hmm. And guys, like I said, feel free to call in. I appreciate Bryce calling in. The call-in number 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. Another aspect, we talk about that emotional roller coaster. And here's the thing about it. Now, as a man, you go, again, I understand. I done had the moments.
Right,
my kids gone. Shit, I'm feeling all bad.
Alone.
I got that Anthony Hamilton playing. Damn, I shouldn't have did this. Damn, I should have did it. Right. You got guilt, loneliness, anger, grief, all kind of shit, right. Man. It's rough, man. And that shit hard. You going through that and keeping in mind. We talking about life after divorce. Yo, ex may have it too. Mm-hmm. So you already trying to get your shit together. You got this baby rattle going through your damn head. They going through it, and in the midst of it, you got to do what? Parent, right? And that shit is hard.
Difficult.
It is hard. People say, "Well, y'all still got the kids. Y'all still got to take the kids." I know that. Fuck no. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm
struggling right now.
I had all over the place, man. Right. Like, damn, I messed it up. I'm used to family, this, that, and that, and all that kind of stuff. Right. You got this new normal in your home. Mm-hmm. You got this new way of living, and you dealing with it, but you also still got to be daddy. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And a lot of times people will sit there and be like, these simple solutions. Oh, man, you still got to do that. The kids still need you. Shit, I need me.
That. We understand that.
I need me.
The kids can't have me, and I can't be sorry for them if I'm not together.
One of my OGs told me that. He said, Deonte, just remember, if you ain't right, ain't nobody going to be right.
Right,
and he said, listen to what I just said, son. Mm-hmm. If you ain't right, ain't nobody going to be right. And his point was, and I appreciate Artie for dropping that on me, that get yourself together, because there's no way I can sit here and try to do certain things until I get myself together with that. And I appreciate that advice. It's very, very, very important, brothers. If you can seek therapy, have some kind of outlet, some kind of brotherhood, that at the end of the day you can get sound advice. Mm-hmm. F that B, go get a drink. Let's go get some B's. Probably not the wisest advice you can get, right?
Right.
But that's probably the most common advice you can get, right?
Most common.
Yeah, so you got to be kind of weary and realistic about who you talk to, just getting some kind of advice with going through that. Because divorce is rough. Mm-hmm. And somebody can be your best friend, your ace boom coon, but they not the best. My mom on the call. My mom was always, her advice was, forget that F. Don't do that. All this, that, man. I mean, it was just always something that you like, Mom, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that. Like legally, I can't do that.
Right.
I wouldn't do that shit. I did do this. But my mother is my mother. My mother's not an attorney.
Right.
So going to her with, hey, mom, I need to get this off my chest. My mama is in protect her son mode.
Right.
So the advice she gave me, I appreciate it, but the counsel wasn't the best.
Right.
Thank God, I have a lot of reasoning in between my ears where I can just, okay, now I ain't gonna move off that. But that is so important, man, because when you start, if you love your children, man, I'm gonna tell you something. That shit do something to you with the threat of them getting taken away. Because it's one thing to accept, okay, this situation is marriage, relationship is over. That's tough. Okay, I ain't really feeling you. You ain't really feeling me. I love the hell out of my kids.
Right.
Why the hell I can't be with my kids or deal with my kids because me and you ain't working? That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
why a lot of cats flip.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of cats flip. I get that point where Rick said, like, okay, the men don't want to do, but it's a lot of men that accept that that's over.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's over, now we dealing with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you saying, well, me and my kids can just leave. Whoa.
Right.
Get the hell on.
Right.
But they ass to stay here.
Right here. Right.
You mean you and your kids?
Right.
Your kids?
when
Yeah, no, you get the hell on. Nah, hell no. I ain't the other baby daddy. Right. No, you get, no. They say here. And those kind of things. And I know everybody don't have that same perspective. But that's, we start talking about that psychological piece. It is very important, man. And it's very hard to heal without hardening up.
Right.
Because I think the easiest thing people tell you is you got to get past that, or you just got to move on. And it's hard to move on while you're steady in parenting.
Right.
Yeah.
While you in it.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like you still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You still doing it. You know what I'm saying? That is hard to do because you might still be arguing this, that, and that, but you still got to keep focusing. And it's hard. I'm just saying, I go through the shit now. It's hard to co-parent when y'all ain't got the damn going.
Right.
Real talk.
Right.
You can't talk to this person. You can't text this person. You can't email this person. But y'all somebody's supposed to y'all got to just get it together. How the fuck you going to get it together?
We can't even have a conversation.
Come on. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We can't even damn text.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to harden in order to save yourself, to save your mind and your spirit. You have to harden a little bit. I think that the hardening process is more of a protection for yourself, because you don't want every time you have a conversation with this person or this spouse about your children, you don't want to be hurt or upset or sad. So you do harden a little bit, and it may not be intentional. It may be just because of the process that you're going through. You're like, man, I can't be crying about this all the time. I can't be upset about this every day. I got stuff I got to do besides that. So you do harden up a little bit.
And to your point, it's not necessarily a negative thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I share this with guys all the time. If you've been married for a while and mentally you're, even if y'all not getting along, you're like, okay, I'm still protecting this woman. I'm the protector of this family. One of the harshest things that you have to get your mind wrapped around is, I got to focus on me. Because you can be like, well, I'm going to let her have this because she need to go to work. I'm going to let her do this and do that because she got to do this, she got to do that. All the while, she don't give a damn about what you got to go to work.
Right.
She don't give a damn about you where you got to stay.
Right.
And again, ladies, I know women got a spectrum of what men do. We're talking about men now.
Right.
But all the while, you're sitting there trying to, make sure that she's straight.
Right.
And she don't give a damn about what and you got to callous yourself to say, look, I got to make decisions, like I said, that is best for me.
Right.
You ain't trying to screw nobody. But look, man, I can't do that because if I don't, now I can't make a living.
Right.
Because, a lot of times guys can see, well, look, I'm going to let her have this, I'm going to let her have that. And then your new reality, you can't even recover financially because you gave all that up.
You can't afford your rent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you trying to feel now you feel a certain type of way. Why? Because the new dude driving your car, the new dude in your house, the new dude out there playing kickball with your son.
Right.
Damn, look, man. Hey, look.
I get it.
Yeah, you trying to hey, no. And to that point, that hardening, you got to get to a certain place to say, like, look, this protect myself. So making sure you take care of yourself, guys, mentally. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Because again, we say it again, if you ain't right, ain't nobody gonna be right. So you have to make sure when you're going through those divorce stuff, you got to do that, even with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, man, and I, a partner of mine said that years ago to me, and I stole it from his ass, and I said all the time, if it conflicts with my happiness, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
Your well-being is my priority.
Mm-hmm.
But if it conflicts with my happiness, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a father of 3 adult children, them Negroes do what they want to do.
Whenever they want to do it.
And if it all sacrifices, all stuff Daddy did,
Mm-hmm.
that was your decision, Daddy.
Right.
So
Right.
you can't. No, I'm not missing out on shit. Now I'm gonna make sure your well-being, all that stuff is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
But missing out on something to make sure that you want to do whatever. If it has to be done, we're gonna make sure it's done.
Right.
But something that you want to do, oh hell no, it's not gonna conflict with it because you're gonna flip-flop, change or whatever. Protect yourself, guys. You gotta protect yourself. What's up, Henry? Man, Henry, you need to reach out to me. We got that 30-year next week, Henry. Yeah, brother, you got it. I'm gonna inbox you, Henry.
Slick say in divorce, neither of you are that loving mate. That MF come out during divorce.
Well, hell, Rick know how to damn MF and a couple B's, a couple H's, a lot of them.
The ruthlessness come out during divorce a lot of times. It does.
Boy, I appreciate you.
The scam, the underhanded stuff, it comes out during divorce, and it's unfortunate because, and I can't only speak for me. I wasn't trying to be underhanded. I was just trying to move on because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to handle what I went through, and I know I wasn't going to be able to live comfortably in that situation. So,
do you remember how many conversations we would have the show? And Reek was just borderline about to call me stupid because
she was walking a tightrope.
Yeah, she walking that tightrope.
Like,
I'm stupid because I couldn't accept the fact that the stuff that was going on. Like I could say, man, she wouldn't do that.
And Rick was like, okay,
yeah, she wouldn't do that. She started doing it. She wouldn't do that. And but it's tough because again, you just wouldn't expect that line to get crossed. You couldn't expect the person you were married with to do that and everything. But that shit, you gotta make sure what Chris Rock said the most best, said it best. I ain't saying certain things are right, but I understand.
Right, I understand.
Shit, I understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you mess with kids and all that kind of stuff, I can understand somebody flipping the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
Saying it right. But I damn sure can understand some of these poster moments and all this other kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody don't want you no more, whatever this, that, and that. Now, you really, you still, but if somebody's just losing it, not justifying it, I damn sure understand.
Right.
Again, tonight we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. Guys, feel free to keep leaving the comments. Yeah, you guys on TikTok, hey, make sure y'all. I know y'all got questions, comments. Feel free to call in. Get a call in number 678-740-9894. Again, 678-740-9894. Nobody on Facebook or YouTube got any questions, concerns?
They in there, but they not saying
that. They ain't saying that.
That's the thing.
Okay, I got a little Poochie Voodoo dog. One other thing, guys, this is what I was just kind of alluding to what I was talking about before, just co-parenting realities, understand that new normal. When the other parent is cooperative or when they not. Shit, you don't know. When you sign that parenting plan or whatever y'all go through and stuff like that, you hope that that's how it's going to be.
Hope.
Man.
Oh.
Shit.
Like, no, I want $50 more a month on this task, but I'm not signing.
Just that, but even stuff like, did you make sure they did their homework when they over there? Because your house is a standard and their house is a standard. Right, wrong, and different. But that's the thing about it. What I want done at my place, I had to accept that level may not be that way.
Right.
The restrictions or whatever things that she may do at her house may not be the same. And that shit tough. And when you're married,
just every time they go out the house,
man, shit, the boy be needing like a little damn 24-hour turnaround. It's just like, hey man, you gotta get this out your system.
Right.
We're doing that. You over here like you got rights. You got rights over there. You know damn rights over here.
Right.
Yeah, privacy.
Right.
Privacy. You put privacy at the hotel. You ain't no privacy in my house.
Right.
They come But in my house, like it's a damn democracy and shit.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh man, this is a damn dictatorship. This is my house. But again, that's the way I do it.
Right.
And again, so when you're married, you may not necessarily be both people on the same agreements all the time, but you got some like a common theme. We're going. It's easy to push that when y'all together. But when your kid away from you a certain period of time, that shit hard.
Right.
Especially they getting like, okay, it's cool over here, it ain't cool over there, and that shit can spill over. Especially when you start talking about how you want your child making decisions, moving on about when they out of either one of y'all kill, right? Or out of your reach with doing stuff. That shit can get rough, man. That can get rough, man. So those co-parent realities, guys, knowing boundaries, communication, conflict, you just drop, you drop your kids off at your ex house and they don't know you're coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just, calling all time of night to say this, they say that and everything. I'm just throwing out stuff and everything. And you feel like that you gotta get a point across and they don't want to talk about it. They say, let's talk later. No, I want to go over this now.
Right.
That kind of shit is rough.
Very.
That kind of shit is rough because again, what I feel is that I feel that way. What his wife may feel is one thing, and through it all, we got to find some common ground because we still got to do what? Take care of these kids.
Co-parent.
You did what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so now you're sitting there like, hey man, shit, look, whatever. I told you don't pop up at my house, bring them over here. I told you don't be doing this. And I'm just saying,
you got to call first. This ain't your house in the first place.
And I'm not saying this with the case of his wife all the time. But I'm just saying, like, just certain things you're like, okay, let me get used to this, whatever. And it is more than challenging. And your response may not necessarily be received in the best way. You might say, well, look, man, can you not do this? Mother, da. You know, you don't know.
Right.
And that stuff, it can be rough, man. And like I said, it's easy to say, y'all got to put the kids first. And what your actions and their actions, and they may have intentions. Intentions and actions, two different things. And when people say that, I'm telling you, man, I cringe on that shit. Well, man, y'all got to do what's best and just co-parent. You think they ain't trying to do that?
Right. It's not as easy as it seems sometimes. Yeah. Like if that's what I need to do, I'm trying to do that. But if you think it was that easy, I wouldn't jump into it. Like, why would I want a difficult situation?
And let me say something, and I really want to stress this. What one person is okay with dealing with, that don't mean everybody else should be. Because if my ex-wife, I've said I'm gonna do this, and my ex-wife expects me to do that, and I don't do it, and somebody say, well, girl, most men don't do that anyway, just do it yourself. That ain't necessarily, okay for her to accept the shit.
Right.
Because most women do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, as a man, like, hey, man, that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, man, well, look, I wouldn't be waiting on it. You're going to do it. Hell no. We got paperwork.
Right.
She's supposed to do this.
Right.
Like, no, I got shit to do. I can't not do this because they say no and we agree to it. And those are the kind of things when people say, well, put the kids first. Look, man, it's not, like I said, the intention is there.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I want to have this conversation with people. We talk about fatherhood after divorce. It's not always easy. I envy people. I envy people when I sit there and say, well, we did this, we did that. And they moving around like
a machine.
Like some shit off NBC.
Right.
Everybody, hello. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're all, the
introducing the new boyfriend to the ex-husband. And he's agreeing with him to pick up the kids after. Like, what?
What show is that?
She friends with the ex-husband's girlfriend. They going out to lunch.
Yeah. Those kind of things, man. You is like I said, I envy that.
Yeah.
And that's why I say a lot of times, guys, the best thing I can give you gentlemen advice on is really try to find what you can handle. And if you can't handle it, try to find some way you have some kind of outlet to do that. Because you're not always going to necessarily be in a position where you're getting full respect I can't sit and say you will never get disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
I can't necessarily say you won't get ignored or whatever. You just got to find a way to vent with it. And you got to understand sometimes lose the battle, win the war.
Mm-hmm.
Because Casey and say, well, she ain't doing this, that, and I want to take her to court every time she don't do that.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true.
So look, man, like, okay, cool. Like I said, I ain't saying concede, but just find some way you can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's rough.
It's different.
It's rough. Because what's on paper and what is done, a lot of times ain't the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people don't want to necessarily enforce rules till they don't get their way. Well, you supposed to do this, supposed to do that. You know how much shit your ass supposed to damn
do that you don't.
did,
Right.
right? So they gotta kind of be mindful of how far you gonna like let stuff get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, tonight's show we're talking about fatherhood after divorce. And this is the last piece, guys. And I think this is very important. Because me and Lab have talked about this extent. As me and them came through it, and that's redefining your identity as a divorced man. Well, you're moving from husband father to man father.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you move from husband father to man father.
Yeah.
And like Lab said, you know, you went through it like I don't even know what the hell I like.
Yeah.
Because your mindset is so focused on making everybody else happy.
Mm-hmm.
Your individuality is lost.
It's disappeared. It disappears
Yeah.
in marriage. It really does.
And you gotta, you know, rediscover your purpose outside of that marriage, you know, dating and protecting your peace and all that kind of stuff. And
no, and not being a compromiser. Where you was a compromise in the marriage, you don't have to compromise now. If you don't want to do it, you ain't got to damn do it.
You know,
that was one of the hardest things I think I had to learn. It's not that I don't have to compromise.
Well, you don't have to compromise, but also you ain't got to feel guilty about decisions you made that's gonna be the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if I take care of my responsibilities, and me taking care of my responsibility don't mean everybody gonna be happy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, son, I took care of this, I took care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mom ain't gonna do it, so you need to do it. You got me up.
Right.
No, I did what I was supposed to do.
Right.
Well, you gonna do this. You might they don't listen to your mama. Well, you spend that on them house. You do that with them house. They ain't never went there, but I know that would, you know, might down there and run across the mind if you do that. But that's the thing about it, Lab. You got to be able to say
no,
and it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is hard, and
especially when you've been married a long time. Especially when you've been in them 10s and 20s year marriages. It's very difficult.
And you love your kids so much, depending on the dynamics of this new situation. Like, I've been trying to see y'all, and you getting to a point where I'm paying for things to make me feel like y'all still love me. Mm-hmm. I'm paying and doing things that are compromising to me to feel like I'm still getting some kind of favor with you.
Yeah.
I'm paying and doing for shit to feel like, okay, this is gonna keep my son's attention or keep my daughter's heart. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, now you pimp me like you do somebody in the street because we know daddy's doing this shit. Do it. Yeah, gonna do it, but I'm only doing it because I don't see you that often. Mm-hmm. I can't do this and I can't do that, but you don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You just, you know, being manipulative. Mm-hmm. And your kids will be manipulative with you.
Most definitely will.
They will be manipulative with you. And those kind of things, you got to know how to be able to set boundaries up for not just your ex, but for your children too. Mm-hmm. Hey, little son, I'm going out. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because at some point in time, our children going to do what? Grow up, and they're going to get a boyfriend. They're going to get a girlfriend, and they're going to have things, and a wife and children, and they're going to have things that they want to do that we ain't got no say-so with that shit.
Right.
So, men, you got to make sure you protect yourself and do not feel bad about living.
Mm-hmm. You first.
You first. You first.
You need to put everybody above you. It's you first. I mean, especially when you get older, you get in the late 40s, early 50s, and you start realizing, damn, I did, you know, I'm on the other side of, you know what I'm saying? My summers are getting less. I ain't did nothing I wanted to accomplish.
Well, Larry, they kind of go back to when we had the show about people raising adult children. Mm-hmm. And you sit out there, you get to dating somebody or meet somebody, like, shit, your son 30-something, the hell we doing? We ain't, you know, why they still walking around in their underwear?
Right.
Why they doing that? Why is all the grandkids staying here, this, that, and that? Not saying anybody helping nobody, but now they imposing. And you got like this obligation where I got to make sure they straight. If I don't do it, who gonna do it?
Who gonna do it, right?
Them.
They 37.
Yeah, they can do it. Well, what the hell? So those kind of things, like getting that kind of thing, I think that's super important, guys. Understand again, you move from husband father to man father, right? So I definitely want you guys. I want to leave you with that, man. Protect yourself, man. It's been a great conversation, great show, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Bryson, man, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but make sure you go to Changing Lives, hosted by Deonte Bird on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. You can check out this video in the full entirety. There are 1,400 videos that we got on the YouTube channel, man. So definitely everybody from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Real quick, guys, the book is here. New proof today. Weekend, because the one I shared in the chat with everybody, I didn't like that prefixed and everything. So the real deal Holyfield is here now. And everything with that, but I do want to let everybody know that. And so I will, from both podcasts, and I think I speak for media family, man. Thank y'all for all the love and support. Appreciate everything and stuff. So even with going through looking at my shows, subscribe. Make sure you check out Memphis Radio, Memphis TV. Correct me if I'm saying shit wrong.
That's right. You're right.
And just check out all the other shows we got on there, man. Well, we got 7, 8 right now.
8 shows.
8 shows and stuff like that every day of the week.
That's right.
Every day of the week. You can get you missed
and 3 times on Sunday.
Get your little funny bone. How many times on Sunday?
3.
3 times on Sunday. There you go. But listen, man, take care, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be safe, and I'll talk with you soon.